Have you noticed? Have you noticed that no matter who wins, their constituents remain disappointed? Or that no matter who is in charge, the war machine just keeps on churning? And that prices keep climbing? Are you tired, sick, and tired of donkeys and elephants and psychological operations? Me too. Welcome to the Stateless Standard. The morality of capitalism, debunking misconceptions and embracing its superiority. Capitalism has long been viewed as a selfish and immoral economic system based on greed and the pursuit of personal gain. Critics often point to the disparities between the rich and the poor as evidence of its flaws. However, renowned economist Walter Williams argues that free market capitalism is not only economically superior, but also morally superior to any other way of organizing economic behavior. Let's explore the truth about capitalism and debunk some common misconceptions. One of the main critiques of capitalism is that it is a zero-sum game, where one person's gain is another person's loss. This view portrays capitalism as a selfish system that benefits only the wealthy at the expense of the poor. However, this is a false perception. In reality, the free market is a positive-sum game, where individuals voluntarily exchange goods and services for mutual benefit. As Williams explains, when you purchase something from someone, you are essentially proving that you have served your fellow man. This voluntary exchange creates value for both parties involved. The buyer gets the desired product or service while the seller receives compensation for their efforts. In contrast, government intervention and handouts create zero-sum games, where one person's gain comes at the expense of others. Another misconception about capitalism is that it gives too much power to giant corporations who can manipulate and exploit consumers. However, in a free market, businesses must compete for consumers' dollars by offering better products and services. As Williams points out, it is we, the people, who ultimately decide the fate of companies by choosing where to spend our money. If a company fails to satisfy its customers or become efficient, they will be held accountable by loss of business. In contrast, government bailouts and subsidies can keep inefficient companies afloat by taking away accountability to customers and stockholders. Critics also argue that capitalism is based on greed and selfishness. However, as discussed earlier, the free market operates on the principle of voluntary exchange for mutual benefit. People engage in economic transactions to fulfill their own needs and desires, but in doing so, they are also serving the needs and desires of others. This is often referred to as enlightened self-interest. In contrast, socialism, which many proponents offer as an alternative to capitalism, relies on government coercion and force, taking away individual liberty and choice. Williams also addresses the misconception that capitalism only benefits the wealthy. In a free market, individuals have the opportunity to create wealth through their own skills, talents, and hard work. This creates upward mobility and allows individuals to improve their economic status. While it is true that there will always be disparities of wealth in any society, the free market offers the greatest opportunity for upward mobility compared to any other economic system. Furthermore, capitalism has been proven to be incredibly efficient in allocating resources and meeting the needs and wants of consumers. Businesses must be efficient and innovative to stay competitive in a free market. This leads to lower prices, better quality products, and an improved standard of living for all individuals. In contrast, government-controlled economies are often plagued by inefficiency and limited choices for consumers. Finally, another argument against capitalism is that it lacks morality, because it is not based on compassion or altruism. However, as Williams argues, a truly moral system is one based on voluntary actions between individuals rather than coercion. The free market encourages people to serve their fellow men in order to earn money and have a claim on what others produce. This promotes individual responsibility and accountability. In conclusion, free market capitalism is not only economically superior, but also morally superior to any other economic system. It encourages voluntary actions between individuals and creates positive-sum games where everyone can benefit. It promotes efficiency and innovation while providing upward mobility for individuals. Critics may continue to spread misconceptions about capitalism, but as Walter Williams suggests, the evidence speaks for itself. So let's embrace the morality and superiority of free market capitalism and reject the flawed alternatives that have proven to be disastrous throughout history. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and tell your friends.